Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of CookieCast. Today on CookieCast, it's the darkest timeline. You're stuck with me for the day, I'm afraid. We're talking playgroup. Anybody go to playgroup when they were little? Anybody remember playgroup? I remember going to playgroup. It was a time. Well, it's time to bring it back. Talking about paying it forward. Is it really the future? And if so, what does it entail? We've got some TV and some computer games. No movies at the moment. Movies are weird at the moment. So, yeah, apologies. If you're here for the movies, got bad news for you. Before we get started, please do consider like, share, subscribe, and comment. Leave a review where you can leave a review. Obviously, the big one, share the podcast around. Get somebody else involved. Go on, you know you'll want to. Right, let's get started. Here we go. This is CookieCast. Darkest Timeline. Hello. How are you doing? You well? You good? Good. I hope you are good. If you are not good, do reach out. If you don't want to reach out to us, reach out to a friend or a family or a loved one or a service in your local area that may be able to help you with the fact that you're not feeling too good. It's important. I know sometimes it might not seem like it, but it is. You're important. So please do. If you contact us here, we'll contact you back. It is super late, which doesn't make a huge difference, but I'm sure by the back end of this, when I'm yawning and forgetting what I'm saying, it'll make a difference then. So, probably not make much of a difference. How are we all? How are we doing? Not a huge amount to go through this week, apart from a shit ton of TV. There's like a handful of games, no movies. Movies are weird. I mean, in general, I just mean, me watching movies, strange. So let's have a look. I've got a reel. I don't know quite. I've written it down because it was something I wanted to talk about, and now I look at it, I'm like, it's a lot. It's something that seems so small, but it's also a lot. So anyway, let me shift a bit. I've been having. Oh, what's that? I thought that sounded like it sparked. Oh no, it's just right. Okay, it's just part of the pen, not electric shocks. Oh shit, I'm crashing. See, I was just about to say I've been having thoughts, not the dark thoughts. They're just a thing. I've been having thoughts around my seating arrangement. Yes, it's one of those podcasts. There's a lot of with some of the changes that have come in recently, with equipment changes and the like. There is I personally feel that there's a bit of a, should I change the area that I'm sitting in? Kind of toying with the idea of a new chair. This chair has been an absolute delight. It is very old at this point in time, so you can imagine what an office chair that's best part of 20 years old looks like. It doesn't do the up and down anymore, let's put it that way, and it's held together with duct tape. But with anything like that, it's also great, but it is quite big as well. And can sit here the way I want to when I want to. So that's just a tiny little insight. Anyway, so last Wednesday, it's all connected loosely. Last Wednesday, I wanted to do some things. 50% of them I knew full well I wasn't going to be able to convince my son to do. He said he was prepared to do it, but I knew that he wasn't going to. I knew we'd get there, we'd start looking around, and he'd be like, "Can we go home?" So I wanted to go and look at computer monitors as the ongoing search for the thing that's going to fill the deep chasm in my heart. The new PC needs a new monitor. It's a long story about how new PC, new monitor. Anyway, I went to go and look at monitors. That is a bald-faced lie. I wanted to go and look at laptops. I record X number of podcasts at any one time using a laptop that I've had for a really long time at this point in time, and it has been an absolute delight. Very much like this office chair that I'm sitting in right now. My laptop has been fantastic. It was an absolute find at the point in time that I found it. It was insanely cheap for what it was. It was an absolute steal. Simple. It has served me well. I will have recorded thousands upon thousands upon thousands of hours worth of podcasting on there, along with a multitude of other things that it has done for me. However, around about a year ago, I started getting a message on it that was basically, come a certain point in time, your laptop's no longer going to be supported. And then that time sort of came and went. And then every now and then I get a message from it going, "Hey, before long, this laptop is not going to basically work anymore," which I'll never fully understand, if I'm honest. It was that whole where it was like, "Oh, your stuff's going to run out and it's not eligible for the new one." Oh, okay then. That sounds like just a way to get me to pay for a new laptop. Anyway, I wanted to go and have a look. I've had a laptop recommended to me. It is not cheap, but will probably do absolutely everything I need it to. So I'm a bit like, God, really? More money? So, under the pretense I'm going to look at a monitor for the new PC, I was going to accidentally find myself in the laptop area, and that was where things were going to get bad, because I know the monitor I want. I've picked the monitor I want, and as I highlighted today, I could essentially just order it and be done. Simple. But that wasn't why we wanted to go. So I had a plan, and the plan was to take my son to one of the bouncy places with like trampolines and inflatables and all of that, because I've got a discount code. So I was going to get it cheap, take him there, let him burn some energy for like 90 minutes, then leave and be like, "Here you go, here's a snack. Let's go over the road to look at monitors." Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. I mean laptops, really. That was the plan. Whilst secretly knowing, yeah, it's still not going to work. It's still not going to happen. It's still not going to fly. So I'm already in the kind of phase where I'm fine taking him to do these activities as long as he's happy doing them and as long as he wants to do them. I'm happy taking him to do these things. But I could do without the "can we go home" 2 minutes into doing an activity that's kind of for me. I am relaying some of these concerns to Leanne. She highlights that she has already told me that I should take him to the local play group. And I'm like, Anybody who's in a relationship at this point in time will understand what I mean when I say, you know, that thing that gets mentioned multiple times, and then you realise, oh, I'm supposed to do this, but I'm supposed to realise that off my own back and do it like it was my idea. I get it. I was like, oh, right, okay, I'm supposed to take him to this playgroup because it's my day and she's at work. Right, okay, cool. Series of drawbacks. A lot of drawbacks. Firstly, it's in a church. Now, I'm not allowed to go into churches because I burst into flames. We know this. This is a thing. And that part of the story becomes relevant later. Anybody that knows me will know I have a strong aversion to church-related things. However, I have in the past found a variety of points in time where it's been quite amusing. I refer you to a previous caroling experience that was one of the funniest experiences of my life. So we're already off to a bad start. Leanne assures me, no, it's fine because it's just run. It's just that it's just the space. It's run by these people. You just have to do a donation. So it's cheap. You can have a drink. It'll be warm, and probably the biggest bonus for him, all of his buddies go, all of his besties go. And I was like, yeah, it does sound good for him. And I get a drink, and it's cheap. Okay. Then I was like, but I need to give the car a run out. So I suppose I can drive there because it's far enough away that it's driving distance. There and back kind of situation. Series of other drawbacks. I know some of his friends' parents. I've had conversations with some of his friends' parents in the past, but I don't know them. And in any situation like that, my instant go-to is to just talk, to just ramble, to just talk at people. And I'm like, I don't want this to be uncomfortable, so I'm going to make it as uncomfortable as possible by just talking at you. I'm like, there are a lot of drawbacks here, but in a situation where there are a lot of drawbacks, I would default to, if it's something for him and it's something he's going to enjoy, that kind of overrides everything. That's kind of like, well, he'll enjoy it. He'll get something out of it. It'll be fun for him. He'll see his friends. She's like, why don't you let me text and see if his best friend is going to be. I'll text his best friend's mum, see if his best friend's going to be there. That kind of makes a decision for you in a way. I'm like, fine, do that. So text was sent, and yes, they were going to be there. I was like, right, okay, I can do this. It's for him. I can do this. Give the car a bit of a drive. First, tick in a box. We get to the church. Somebody an older gentleman opened the door for us. I was like, was he waiting there to open? Does this church have a doorman? Because that's interesting / intriguing / I'm not sure what, all rolled into one. I was like, oh, thank you very much. Thank you. All of this. We go in, and I'm not going to lie, I was expecting 5 kids, a handful of toys, a load of parents stood around talking, and that. Basically, that's what I was expecting. That is not what I walked into. What I walked into was conservatively 35 children. The first person I see as I walk through the door is my son's best friend's mum, and I'm like, okay, well that's good, and I almost like a friendly face situation. And then there's all these elderly people that seem to be running this situation. And when I say running, think mafia. Not even a joke. If you've ever seen an episode of The Sopranos that is set in the back room of the nightclub, yeah, just think that. There are so many people in this room. There are so many toys. It's hardwood floor, and half the toys are like ride-on toys. I'm like, okay. So they're like, oh, we need you to do a few things. All right. Okay. We need you to sign him. I was like, that's fair. We need you to fill in this form. And if you want to give a donation, you can. And I'm like, I think in this situation, I'd be prepared to give a donation. I've got some cash in the pocket. So they're like, you need to sign it. I was like, I can sign it. That's no problem. Sign child in. There you go. That's like a health and safety thing. Like, we need every child to have had one of these forms filled in. It's mostly for birthday cards. I'm like, oh, okay. I didn't realize what sort of operation we were running here. I found out very quickly when I looked down at the form, and somebody said, oh, and if you've got any preferences for your data. And I went, the fuck? There were 4 different things you needed to contact to ask them to not use your data. Just let that sink in. At this point in time, I have no idea who is running this group. I don't know if it's the church. I don't know if it's some sort of outside company. I don't know if it's some sort of mafia situation. I'm leaning mafia. It seemed well funded, and I ain't talking donations. I look at this form, I'm like, you are selling people's data. The people that are bringing their children to playgroup, you're selling their data. The form asked for everything. Your name, your address, dates of birth, mobile, email. It asked for everything. And I looked at this form, and I looked at the fact that there were 4 different places you had to contact so they didn't use your data, and all of them were different. I'm like, this is going fucking everywhere. I look at this form, I look around. The lady that gave me it has vanished off the face of the earth. I'm like, I don't want to fill this in. I'm looking around. I'm like, maybe if I drop some money in the donation thing, then I can just put the clipboard down. I'm looking around. I'm like, I don't think I'm going to be able to participate without filling this form in. That's the vibe I'm getting right now. So I look at the form and I'm like, okay, this is to do with my child. Well, he doesn't have all that much data to sell, but they don't want his data. They want my data. So I was like, I will fill this form in my best handwriting. For anybody that doesn't know, I'm dyslexic. My handwriting is fucking atrocious at the best of times. Can you imagine what my handwriting looks like when I don't try? 5s look like S's, 7s look like 1s. It's pretty much just the drunken spider. Think doctor's handwriting, then think I can read that. That's legible, because that's the comparison. I fill this form in with the odd number that may or may not have been incorrect. I used my throwaway email address. I did put my son's date of birth down, so he can get that all-important birthday card. And yeah, my address might be a little bit lacking. Filled it in, handed it to a lady that was passing, and that was that. I'm like, I don't know what the fuck I've got into here, but basically I've been extorted for data. So there's that. Not feeling great about the situation, and having spent £2 whole at this point in time, I'm like, well, this has been not great so far. Now, while all this is going on, my son didn't know where we were going. He thought we were off to look at monitors. He realised that we were near his preschool, so knew that something was up, because he knew that we weren't going to preschool. I was like, no, we're going here, mate. He's like, oh, okay. Goes in, sees his best friend and his other best friend, and is like, what the what is this place? And all the toys that he can then go and play with his besties. And he's like, I'm going to see you later, old man. I'm gone. So he is gone. He's off. And comes back at some point. He goes off again. He's just having the best time. And I'm like, well, that kind of makes up for some aspects of this. So, all of a sudden, at the point in time where I'm feeling like wildly out of place, all of a sudden, yet again, an older lady appears like Batman next to me. She's like, would you like a drink? At this point, I'm feeling a little bit like, let me just pull my trousers up and I'll be with you in a second kind of situation. So I was like, you know what? I do want a drink. I gave you two English pounds, and you're going to sell my data to multiple places. I do want a drink. I was like, oh, actually, yeah, I would love a drink. What do you want? Coffee? Okay. Off she went. I was like, might never see her again. She came back with like a keepy cup. It's a big drink. Big cup of coffee. I'm like, okay, this is all right. So far, I am already feeling like I've got my money's worth. So, yeah, you're going to fuck me over on the data. But let's put it into the terms we can understand. I've paid £2 for a cup of coffee. Everything else is a bonus. Let's put it like that. My son's off playing. I'm talking to the mum of his best friend. I'm drinking a drink. We're in the warm, out the cold. I was like, this isn't the worst. Next thing, commotion. I'm like, what the fuck? What's going on? I can hear these noise, like click, 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 click. I'm like, fucking hell, just fucking drive by, get down. I turn around and I'm like, whoa, what is this? And there were these 2 foot square plastic things that these people were flipping over and then pulling out legs. And I was like, oh wow, these fold out tables. They had 15 of them. And I'm looking like, wait, what's happening? So these legs are coming out, these tables are getting set up, plastic chairs are starting to be materializing out of thin air. I'm like, is this what happens in churches? I was like, oh, I know. This is one of those situations where me, and this, wait for the sexism, me, a man, should go and help out. So I go over, grab one of these plastic things, flip it over, start popping legs out. And then one of the ladies is like, oh, if you take that one all the way over there, then we can really spread out. And I'm like, absolutely. And I'm like grabbing chairs and doing a few more of these tables, getting them all spread out. The kids that are there, presumably every week, they know what's going on. And they're descending on the tables. There are these big tables at the top end of the room. Next thing, all this food's coming out. Fresh chopped fruit. Fresh chopped fruit of all sorts of variety. There was mango, melon, as well as your standard banana, raspberry, blueberry. Shit tons of the stuff. Jugs of juice. Little pink wafers going on. I'm like, a Ritz cracker for you, sir? Yes, sir. I'm like, okay, here we go. So the lady I was talking to, she was like, oh, so basically what you do is you just go and grab a plate, put a few bits on it, bring it back, give it to your child, grab a drink sort of thing. I'm like, okay, I can do this. Okay. So I go up, grab a plate, put some bits on. Everybody, all the adults are doing this. There's a different variety of like parent and grandparent situation going on. I did that. He ate some fruit. He was like, oh, can I have some more? I'm like, I don't know, man. I don't know the situation. And literally, as I said this, somebody was like, there is more if you want to go and get some more. There is some left if you want to grab more. And I'm like, oh, okay. So I go, get a few more bits, put them on the plate, take it back. He's like, nom, 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 nom. I'm like, okay. This is all right. This is okay. I don't mind this. I've healed from my wounds of, the injustice and all that. Next thing, all the kids have finished eating. I'm looking at the time. I'm like, there's time left because it's like, I knew what time it went from and until. I'm like, there's time left. What, they just go back to playing? I was like, most places don't like to feed a load of kids a load of food and then have them sort of playing. The children that were leaving the tables, I noticed that the chairs are being put in like a semicircle. I'm like, is this where the sacrifice happens? It's been too nice up to this point. This is the human sacrifice portion of the playgroup, isn't it? It's going to be me. Oh no. So more kids get up, more tables get collapsed, more chairs get sat down. They start talking about, there's this thing about they're presenting some money, some charity thing over Christmas where somebody put Christmas lights up on their house, took donations, and they were donating it to the play group. I'm like, okay, this is one of the ways that we pay for things, is it? Okay, well, if that's so they were doing this thing, there was going to be a picture, and it was going to social media. It caused a lot of problems with a few parents that didn't want their children to be on social media. As I said, we don't do the social media thing as far as our children are concerned. However, I also don't, there are situations where I'm like, I know a child of mine is on social media. I know that. But I go with if they can't be identified by either me or Leanne or by name or one of those, then it sort of makes things harder sort of thing. So I was a bit like, I know that like some of them end up on social media for a variety of different reasons. Some social media has been blocked, specifically been blocked. So I'm like, okay. They do all this stuff. There's like all these photos and this presentation. All this. I'm like, okay, this is fine. Next thing, these big tubs come out. I'm like, okay, this is the next thing we're doing. What's this going to be? Musical instruments. That's right, musical instruments. Here we go. I'm like, okay, it's about to get loud in here. So, basically, it's just like they do this presentation of some birthday cards, which I was like, interesting. And then it's like the kids got all these instruments, they're banging along, but they're all singing. They're singing songs. Now then, something had been happening up till this point. I have this perpetually itchy shoulder. It's just a thing. I've had it for, I'm going to go on, I've had it for years at this point in time. I just have an itchy shoulder. Spoilers, it's itching right now. I have a scratchy thing. Every now and then I wonder if it comes over on the podcast, because it's pretty much weekly that I'm like, oh God, my shoulder's itching, I need to scratch it. So I have this itchy shoulder. Early on in the process, shoulder started itching. A bit later, other shoulder started itching. I was like, I don't usually have two itchy shoulders. Next thing I'm like, why is my side itchy? And I'm scratching and scratching and scratching. I'm like, something's going on here. I said to the other parent that I'd been socialising, speaking to, whatever. I was like, while these guys are sat and they're not going to run away and do anything, I'm just going to run to the toilet. I needed the toilet. I knew we would be leaving soon. So I was like, toilet, two birds, one stone. I go into the toilet and there is a mirror. And I'm like, okay. I have to lift the top up to see if I've got some sort of rash going on. No visible rash. I'm like, all the times I've ever joked about, I can't go into a church because I'll burst into flames. And as far as I can tell, my skin is literally burning at this point in time. The irony. P.S. It absolutely stopped itching when we left. So I go back, they're singing the song, and the next thing they're singing the Tidy Up song, and it's done. And we leave, and my son decides to inform me that today was a good day to do this. I had a good day. It was fun. I was like, did you like that, mate? He was like, yes. And saying how he got to play with most of his friends. One of his friends wasn't there. I'm like, I don't think that friend knows to be there. So maybe you should tell him, and then maybe he will be there in future. We walk away. I'm looking at the time. I'm like, we're absolutely not going monitor shopping at this point in time. So let's go home for some lunch. I mean, laptop shopping, yeah. As it is, have not done anything about a laptop or a monitor. I'm going to have to do something because computer prices are going crazy. And as I said yesterday, can't even get my PC to break a sweat at this point in time. Because I myself added a new fan to it to give it even more fans. It has several. Now it has more. So now it doesn't even break a sweat trying to do the few things that I do on it. As has been the way, I've been on and off talking about the weight recently. I've hit a bit of a funk with the weight stuff. I'm kind of annoyed, bored, confused. Don't know what I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing. Over the space of the last couple of weeks, I've been trying to find a balance, trying to eat more, trying to fast less. I still fast on a Sunday. What I will say is this: the Sunday fast is having less and less results or impact, which would maybe suggest it's either not enough or it's not really doing anything. So what's the point? But I've had this weird thing this week that because I've like I'm basically like what I would say is like 6 pounds more than my average low weight. Not the lowest I've ever been, but the average low. I'm 6 pounds more than that. Not quite half a stone. And for me, as a fat man mentality, I would always expect to see it in the stomach area. When you think being fat and overweight, your immediate thought is the stomach. So when there are days where I'm like, well, I'm not seeing it there. It's not there. It's not visibly there. So where is it? If you weigh more, it has to be somewhere. And there have been days and times where I'm like, it feels strange to say, but I feel like I look better. You know, when you're doing your checks, when you're doing your fit checks. Do you guys do fit checks? We do fit checks in our house. Probably a really bad thing to do, but yeah, every now and then I'll be like, quick, fit check. When you're sort of checking sort of the way things are going, and you shouldn't always go by what's on the scales. I heard a thing today that was like, can you tell me how much your liver weighs? And I was like, yeah, you never sort of like think, oh, maybe today I've got fatty liver when I stepped on the scales. Never really a thought or consideration. I started to wonder whether, like, is it better to weigh a little bit more, but to look better for it? There's been a few comments in the past recently saying that, like, when I get down to the low weight, I look a little ill, a little gaunt seems to be the phrase that comes out, or the word that comes up a lot. And I'm like, no, I'm skinny, I'm shredded. I'm trying to get those abs and blah blah blah. You hear a lot about I wasn't eating enough, and the moment I started eating enough, that's when things changed for me, and the like. I stepped on the scales this morning, and there was a part of me that was mortified. Like I say, 6 pounds heavier, 3 pounds heavier than last Monday. It's a tough pill to swallow. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. It's one of those things I can, there's been a birthday, there was some cake. I wasn't going to do I'm not allowed to eat cake, because there are times when I think, especially like when your kids are involved, there are times when you're just like, let's just be normal for 5 minutes. Just be normal for 5 minutes. Have a piece of cake. Especially when it's like, have a piece of cake because you haven't eaten anything today. It's 6 o'clock at night. So, but with cake comes pounds, doesn't it? So I stepped on scales this morning. I was like, fuck's sake, all of that, all the good stuff. But then I was like, I'm trying not to stress, as long as it doesn't go over a particular number, which it has gone over a couple of times in the last sort of week or so, which is, again, like I say, tough pill to swallow, all of this. I'm preparing myself to go in the shower. Like, I've weighed, I'm going to brush my teeth, go in the shower. And I'm looking, and I'm like, other than the one area of focus in my health journey at the moment, which is putting a lot of time, a lot of effort, and a lot of pain into trying to get some sort of ab situation going, which, not gonna lie, is essentially impossible. I'm sure you can imagine excess skin situation, whilst it isn't anywhere near as bad as a lot of other people I know have experienced. Obviously, you get those people that get to the point where they have to have surgery and stuff. Touch what is definitely fake wood. That's not though. I somehow managed to escape the majority of it, but you're just never going to get away from all of it, and obviously it all collects in that midsection. So trying to get visible abs is a fruitless endeavor, but it doesn't stop me. I feel it also helps keep on the track, because I can say, well, there's no point in eating this and not doing this when I want to get some abs. So instead, I should not eat this. I should go and do this and get the ab workout going. Other than that one area, I'm looking in the mirror. I'm like, okay, so the man boobs are nearly gone. I keep saying this though, so I look like, I look a bit fuller. And I wasn't referring to the stomach. I was referring to like other areas. I was like, there's been points in time where I've looked in the mirror and looked at like my arms and been like, ugh, skinny arms. No, that was not the plan. So, when arms and shoulders and chest look that bit fuller, you look a bit healthier. You look a bit more like, you're actually doing the workouts that you were doing day in, day out. So I'd like written down, is it okay to eat more / weigh more to look better? You don't want to look ill. When people are like, you look a bit gaunt, you look unwell, are you sure that this weight loss is just you losing weight? It's not that you're unwell. Somebody stopped me in the street. I was like, can I ask you a question? Are you unwell? I was like, mentally, or they're like, no, physically, are you unwell? I was like, I don't think so. They were like, oh, it's just, with your weight loss. I thought you were like unwell. I was like, you think I'm fucking dying? Shit. And then they went on to say, don't lose any more weight. You look ill. I was like, oh, thanks. So I'm like, okay, so look better, weigh more. It just saying it. It's like, oh God. So then I was like, okay. Need to find a way to keep the bits that I want, that look the way I want them to look, but then focus on getting rid of the bits I don't want. I don't know if it's possible, but ultimately it does point to needing to make a shift. So today, for example, I think I walked away from my lunch at 100 grams of protein from my lunch. First meal I'd had in 36 hours, and my lunch was 100 grams of protein. Great. I think calories wise, almost nothing. Not obviously, but like for what I've eaten, like I've eaten a whole lunch. I had like 2 things of fruit, really sort of filled out, bulked out, all that sort of stuff. Great. My tea had what am I trying to say? Vegetables, but I did a thing of tofu. So plenty of protein there, some of the veg, etc. I'd had 2 protein shakes today, and I'd had a protein bar. So putting it all together in my head, I was like, I'm pretty sure I've probably hit my protein gram today. That's good. That's what we're looking for. That's what we want. That's how we're going to do it. We're going to focus on hitting the protein. That's how we're going to do it. Just need to cut out that slice of cake. Now I will say this last slice of cake, so there's that. And it just needed to be gone. So that's that. But yeah, I think we all know what the scales are going to say in the morning, don't they? They're going to say, shouldn't have had that cake, you fat fuck. So yeah. Had a situation at the weekend. So for a while now, I've been sort of reading a variety of different books, biographies and the like. I love a biography. If it's somebody that that I'm interested in, I love a biography. I've been reading biographies since I was, I think the first sort of real biography I read was sort of like 18, 19, and it sort of gave me a bit of a thing for them. And my sort of reading is often like some sort of like health and fitness, biographies, or I think it's like urban fantasy, I think it's classed as. But then I enjoy the classics. I really enjoyed I Am Legend recently, and like I've enjoyed books like The Martian and stuff like that. So I read a lot of these sort of biographies. They're good. I listen to a lot of podcasts. A lot of these podcasts can be sort of partially biographical. I read a book and then listened to the audiobook, which was a biography. Danny Trejo's biography, which was great. Fascinating. Absolutely fascinating. You do have that sort of thing that like somebody who's got a biography, you're hoping that they are going to be good. Like I read Ozzy's. Fascinating. Always find these things fascinating. Very rarely are you going to read a biography and go, I have absolutely no idea why I read that. It was boring as hell. So a thing came out of reading all this stuff, and that thing was, it's always better to help others, and your life is infinitely better when you help others. I listened to a series of podcasts recently that had the same message throughout. Helping other people is the absolute best thing you can do. It's better for them. It's better for you. Pay it forward. Blah, 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 blah. I've always had that situation. I've always had that thought of, well, situations very rarely present themselves, like fall into your lap where you're like, I could help this person. And, you know, mentally you always have that saying, like, I always think about it at Christmas. I'm always like, oh, we should do like a food donation or a toy donation, or we should buy like an extra toy and just drop it into somewhere. We should buy some extra things of food and drop them off at the food donation place. And then you have that sort of thing of, yeah, it's the busiest time of year for places like that. They get so much stuff. You should do it at other times. So it's not a reason to not do it. All that. You should go and help at a homeless shelter. I feel like a lot of this is an Americanized kind of stuff, because I don't think we have homeless shelters that serve soup on Christmas Day. I would love to volunteer at like an animal rescue kind of place, and I think through my work we have to do volunteering, so I'm going to see if I can find a way to go and do some sort of animal. I'd love to do like RSPCA, but I think there's sort of rules and it's kind of quite strict, I think. So I'm in this world where I'm like, oh, you know, the opportunity to help. You feel good, and you've helped another person, and they feel good, and everybody feels good, and it sort of propels you forward in life. And I want that. And you know, I help out where I can. And I got these sort of these couple of friends that, like, you know, I'm always like, oh, I'll do this, or oh, I'll do that, and they're very appreciative. You know, I was like, silly, like little things like I'd take you some baking if I ever do any baking, or take you a meal if I make an extra meal or whatever. So it finally happened. I was presented with a situation at the weekend where I was in a position to help another human being. Go on, which way? I was pause for dramatic effect. Which way do you think I went? Do you think I was, you know, that guy? So here's the situation. It was presented to me as an opportunity to help another person, and I was like, oh, fuck, I don't want to do that. Because typically, as is always the way, it was at the absolute worst point in time. Because I was like, I am not in a position to do this. I am not able to do this. I can't help. I'm like, for fuck's sake, why would this turn up now? Why now? I've been looking for this sort of opportunity for a while now, probably, a few years at this point, which I think that sounds worse. I've been like, oh, if ever there's an opportunity for me to help someone else, I'll do it. All of this. A situation falls into my lap and I'm like, I can't. So I'm like, okay, this is it. It's sink or swim. This is the time. This is time to shine. I was like, suck it up and just do it. Don't think of the consequences. Don't think of your actions. Don't and ah and, oh, I'd love to be able to help, but don't do any of that. Just do it. That's the difference. Just get it done. I'm like, yeah, you know what? Fuck it. Let's do this. Let's do this. Come on, let's do it. I was like, look, what do you need? What help do you need? And they were like, no, don't worry about it. I was like, no, we're not having a conversation. I was like, you need this sorting. I'm going to sort it right here, right now. Oh, no, you don't have to do that. I was like, I'm sorting it. I'm doing it now. Oh, well, if you can. I'm like, it's done. So I was like, come on, let's go and get it sorted. So off we went and I got it sorted. It very quickly didn't too. Oh, that's great. That's wonderful. That's fantastic. I don't know what to say. It was so good. I'm so happy. I tell you though, if the fact that you've helped with that, it makes me feel like this other situation. I was like, oh shit. I was like, I've fucking done it now, haven't I? It's gonna be you've helped out here, so why don't you help out there, and why don't you do this, and why don't you do that? And I'm like, just keep going, just keep going. You can do it. Go on, say it. It's like, well, if you need that sorting, I'll sort that out as well. Don't you worry. It's already done. Look, I'm doing it. I'm doing it right now. It's sorted. Problem solved. No problem. It's done. Oh, I can't believe it. It's brilliant. That's great. Thanks for that. That's wonderful. Great. Thanks. I walk away. I'm like, right, here's the thing. Just don't think about it. Just don't think about it. Just breathe. Just don't think about it and just walk away and it'll all be fine. Danny Trejo said that at the absolute lowest point of his life, or points of his life, he helped another person and he was rewarded. So you got to believe in the process. So that was that. I walked away and I felt good. I felt good. I felt good. I really did. I want you to believe me. I felt good. Oh fuck! Between there and an hour later, I found myself in almost the exact same situation. Going, what the fuck is happening right now? What the fuck is going on? Why? Why is this happening to me? I've been frantically texting Leanne as a kind of, hey, look what I did. I did this because I wanted to help another person and all of that. And she was responding like, why would you do that? And I was like, oh, don't worry, it gets worse. I'm like, well, then I went on to do this. She's like, why? I was like, oh, it's okay. It gets worse. It gets worse. I was like, because now I've done this. She's like, why? And I just went back with, because I'm a fucking idiot. Shit the bed, man. The moral of the story is not what you might think. The moral of the story is, this afternoon I had a message and it was good news. It was a good news message, and it was something for me personally. It was good news for me, and I was like, okay, there you go. You see, you do the right thing. You help out another human being. You help out other people. You help where you can. Because there was a lot of, the other person was like, I really appreciate it. They like said it all morning. They said it all the way through the process. They said it. They were sending me messages like, I really, really do appreciate it. And what more can you ask for? You do something for somebody and they're like, I really appreciate it. You really made a difference. And this, that, and the other. And I'm like, okay. There we go. That's all. And at the time, I was like, "You've got to try and help out where you can." I was like, what's that supermarket motto? Every little helps. That's my motto as well. And all this while at the same time being like, oh, God. And then you could look at it and you could say that I was rewarded for what I did the weekend today. That might be a way of looking at it. It's the way I'm choosing to look at it. I'm like, yeah, that person was better off from my help. And those people were better off from my help. And I'm now better off. I don't know. Can I say because of it? Or can I just say just because? I don't know. But I'll tell you this. I tell you what. I'll tell you this much. It does make me think that I should do more. I heard somebody say today that they were supposed to be volunteering at the weekend. And I was like, ooh, I want to do some volunteering. So maybe this is the way. Maybe this is the future. Just saying, bro. So I said I had a lot of TV. A lot of it is quite similar TV related stuff. What we'll say is I watched episode 4, 5, 6, and 7, which was the last episode of Creature Commandos. Creature Commandos is absolutely fantastic. It is fantastic. Friend of mine said that they felt that it was the best thing to come out of the rebooted DC universe. Off the top of my head, I think I'd probably agree. I enjoyed the recent Superman film. I feel like I need to watch it again because I think I question why I don't want to watch it more. I've seen it twice. Saw it at the cinema in IMAX. And I've seen it at home. That's it. Don't know how that feels. Like I've seen like Superman Returns more than that. And that film's fucking awful. So yeah. And now we're getting like Supergirl trailers. We've got to see Lobo and stuff. So yeah, I feel like I should watch it again. By the back end of Creature Commandos, they basically killed. Spoilers, by the way. They basically killed everyone. The majority of the crew. But it was one of those moments where I did give a little cheer right at the very end when certain Suicide Squad characters turned up. I was like, yay! One of my favourite Suicide Squad characters was in it at the end, and a surprise character was in it at the end of the last episode. And that was another yay. Hands down, very much it's very much in the vein of Invincible. It's hyper violent. Like I said to somebody, I was like, James Gunn watched Invincible and was like, hold my beer. It is just a thing of beauty. I don't know that there'll be another series. I kind of think not. It felt one and done, even though the end could have been considered to have been set up for another series. I don't know. If you look at the end of series 2 of Peacemaker, a series that is absolutely screaming for another series, and then to have James Gunn come out and go, oh, there are no plans for another series. And you're like, I'm sorry, what? So, yes. We have been absolutely motoring through Barry. We've watched Season 2, Episode 4, 5, 6, and 7. Very much like Konichi Commandos. That was the end of Season 2. I'm not sure how I feel about seasons ending on a 7, but whatever. Straight into Series 3, Episodes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Not finished the series. Me and Leanne are both in the same camp on this. Believe that this is possibly all highlighting that it's all a dream. There's so much about these series that doesn't make sense. So much doesn't make sense. So much could easily be explained as it was all a dream. I have said that I can piece the entire thing back to a particular point in Series 1 where from that point on it could be a dream. That fucking time jump threw me for a loop. And there are a multitude of times where like people are hallucinating and things go way too well for some people and really bad for others. And like the main characters are fucking awful. Like they're awful people, but for no reason. And it just makes it all feel so weird. I was trying to explain to somebody today, I was like, it's great. It's really good. But you're not sure if any of it's real. And it throws you. What I did write down is episode 6 of season 3. Super profound. So many. Like I say, there's all this like paying it forward stuff and how that can have this amazing effect, not only on yourself but on other people. There's like the life that everyone craves versus the life that you actually need and then actually want versus but this is what everybody really craves. I've got a lot of this kind of thing at the moment. I'm reading this book that highlights about, everybody believes that they need, a new car or a computer monitor and a laptop. The best this, the best that, the latest this, the latest that, the whatever. But does anybody really need any of that sort of stuff? There's like a lot of that in it was like tucked away in this episode of this TV series, and I just wrote down, I was like, very profound. There was a lot in there. Episode 7, just the whole thing's just getting weirder. Also, like I say, not finished. So I think there's another episode of this series, and then only one series after this. We're watching it on Now TV. Now TV has decided to inform us in the last few days that there are only, what was yesterday, 3 days left to watch what I'm hoping is just Series 3 and not the entirety of Barry. Let's talk computer games. I finally, on my new PC, got Half-Life Alyx up and running. And holy fucking shitballs. That game is X number of years old and running on high-end graphics. It looks incredible. I took the opportunity to load up a level of Gunman Contracts, realizing that on high-end graphics, that game is that mod, whatever you want to call it, runs and looks different. Only found out the other day that the game has blood splatter effects. Not on my other PC, it didn't. So that was a novel finding. Like I say, loaded up Half-Life Alyx, and my word, I had to lift the headset to wipe away a tear because of the sheer beauty. I was just like, wow. I've got a load of games, a load of VR games, like sort of stacked in a backlog that are waiting to be played. The reason they haven't been played is because I have been playing Deadpool VR. Fuck me, did they drop the ball with this game? Oh my god. I don't feel like I can say enough bad things about it, whilst also saying it's fine. I think Meta use a 5-star rating, and I feel like this is a solid 3. It's not the worst game you've ever played. It is just a swing and a miss of a game. Honestly, there are things in it that infuriate me. You have not one but 2 swords. Those swords appear to do absolutely no damage whatsoever. To the point that with 2 swords, I never fucking use them until the game tells me to. Then you've got guns, which you can change the guns, so you get guns. I've got these guns at the moment that they fire little rockets. Can you hit a single target? Can you fuckers? And the repetitive nature of go and get this person, bring them back, then go and fight in the arena, playing silly minigame type things, arena-based minigame type things. They're all different. They've all got different levels of difficulty just in themselves, not like they're harder. They're just, here's the thing, it's really long-winded and you might fail halfway through. Good luck. Great, thanks. I don't want to do this. I believe I'm at the end of it, and I believe that it can't come soon enough. Honestly, massive swing and a miss. So, there we go. I am reliably informed that one of the games that I bought for Christmas is an award-winning game, so very much looking forward to that. I've got a couple of others that have had really good reviews, so I'm looking forward to those. And for want of a better way of putting it, I want to get balls deep into some PC VR and see what other games I've got that look amazing. Did I mention I've got a new PC? I'm talking to you on it right now. Other computer games. Let's talk other computer games. I've been playing a lot, some might say too much, of The Outer Worlds 2. The Outer Worlds 2 is great. It has so much detail. It's the game that you play where you go, who comes up with all this? Who thinks to put a hand grenade in a sink for you to pick up? Maybe you'll never see that sink. Maybe that hand grenade will be there till the end of time, and nobody'd ever know. Who comes up with these things? Who is there out there developing these games, doing this? The Outer Worlds, the first one, had a glaring problem. The glaring problem was that by the back end of the game, you are travelling to and fro and talking to people who are all over the place and doing missions and backwards and forwards so much that the game turned into one long loading screen. I think I've said this before. The game turned into just a loading screen on top of a loading screen, and that's all you saw. 80% of the time, you were looking at a loading screen, which back in those days was a long time because it took a long time to load. Nowadays, they've hidden a lot of the loading screens better. You know, you get on a lift that runs for a little too long, or you open a door that takes a little bit longer to open than you'd like, and this sort of thing. But there's still a loading screen. If you get on your ship and fly to a different planet, you get in a loading screen. Because I feel I'm probably heading towards the back end of the game now, there's a lot of moving around, and there's a lot of going to different planets and going to different places and talking to different people and doing different missions that are in different areas that involve you just fast traveling everywhere and staring at a loading screen for the majority of the time you're playing. And it's starting to wear thin. I think it could be a question of, have I just played too much at this point? So I made an executive decision. I said, I'm going to take a break. That doesn't mean I'm done. I'm just taking a break because I can't look at that loading screen anymore. Enter Ghost of Yoti. I know what you're thinking. Andy, that's a big bite of a big apple to take on as a break game. Well, it's one of the games that is just sitting in the pile. The idea was that I'd get through most other games and then start on this. The problem I've got is a lot of the games that I have piled up in the backlog are very similar. Dying Light 2, Dying Light The Beast, and Dead Island 2. Basically the same game. Weirdly enough, it's quite similar to the Outer Worlds. So I felt I needed something just a bit different. And yes, I have got other stuff. You know, I've got UFC 5, I've got Evil West. There's a Mortal Kombat game in there somewhere. But I was like, let's face it, I'm going to spend 30, 40, 50, 80 hours with this game. Should probably give it a whirl and just see what it's all about. And that's what I did. Played for a couple of hours over the course of the entire day yesterday. Let's deal with the elephant in the room, shall we? It isn't Ghost of Tsushima. Ghost of Tsushima was an absolute masterpiece. It was an absolute work of art. It will live on in legend as one of the best. Ghost of Yoti, it's just Ghost of Tsushima, so it doesn't quite have the impact. It doesn't feel already like the story's all that. We've seen it 1,000 times. Well, at points I was like, is this the story for Bullet Train? Because it feels a lot like Bullet Train in a lot of ways. If you want to play Ghost of Yoti and you haven't played it yet, go and watch Bullet Train, then put Ghost of Yoti on, get through the bulk of the story at the beginning, and tell me you don't see a similarity. It plays well. It has the certain flaws that Ghost of Tsushima had. The wind thing is a great effect, but it kind of taps out where you get close to your objective, but close to your objective is never really close enough, and that sort of thing. There is an issue, one that I believe has been talked about quite a bit already, so I don't want to be jumping on any kind of bandwagon here. I don't want to go into it too much because, yeah, it's not necessarily the subject that anybody really wants to talk about, but it is kind of a little obvious. It's fine. It's great. It's wonderful. I think one of the issues I've got, and this is the problem that I had a conversation last night talking to Leanne, I was like, I'm funky with games at the moment. She was like, that's because every game can't be Chronos. I was like, yeah, I know. And it's kind of a shame. I was like, there was something so perfect about Chronos. And I think everything I've played since, it just highlights like, it's fine. It's okay. It's good enough. Okay, it's fine. That's kind of where we are, you know. How many of the games did I list had a number after them? You know, it's a bit like, oh, here we go again. So, yeah. Played a little bit of Chronos yesterday. Just to get my fix. Gotta get my fix. Right, there we go. That is the podcast. Big thank you for watching, listening, being here, and I will catch you next time. There you go, watch things out. Another one done, another one gone. Big thank you for watching, big thank you for listening, big thank you for being here. Before you leave us, please do consider like, share, subscribe, and comment. Leave reviews where you can leave reviews, and check out the website, thecookiecast.com. There we have social media links and an email button. That way you can get in touch with us. We encourage you to do so. Say hi. We might say hi back. That is it for this one. Till next time, I'm going to say bye, and I'll see you then.
You've just listened to another episode of Cookie Cast. Thanks for listening.